So the question of goal setting comes up constantly, and it's an interesting thing. I think goal setting is more recent than most people think. I'm not sure. Some farmer back in 1620 was like, here's my vision of things. I don't know if that's true. Could have been, certainly. But goal setting, as I understand, is a very recent thing in the last 100 years. Dale Carnegie courses and things like that, Earl Nightingale. But in the fitness industry, I think we've always had goal setting in kind of an interesting way, because it's always almost universally to lean down, tone down, whatever the phrase of the month is. There's this idea you want to look a certain way, and almost universally, it's not possible. I was with my friend, Coach Steve-O, this weekend, and he's the person who really helped me work with the clarity of goal setting. As a track athlete, goal setting is A to B. You throw 180, that's who you are. You're literally a 180-foot thrower. That's who you are. You're a 49-second 400-meter runner. And your goal is this other number. So when you throw 180, people then start hitting on you to throw 190 or 200. Well, you start doing a few things, and if it gets closer to 190 or 200, you're right. And if you get to 200, well, you got your goal, and now you're a 200-foot thrower. And then, of course, the goal is to go farther. But see, that's not the way it works with 99.99999% of the population. Most people have what Steve-O calls A, not A goals. And I think it's actually kind of genius. And I'm a good example. See, you guys see this guy here. That's not who I think I am. I think I'm 21 years old, Utah State discus thrower, really hot girlfriend, can drink beer every night and get up after 4 hours and get a 4.0 and do it again and again and again. So when I talk to my trainer, Ben or Robert or anybody at the gym, Madison, Mitch, doesn't matter, my thought is always, I want to be 21 again. See this guy here? That's not me. So that's A, not A goals. Look at me. Okay, that's who I am, but that's not who I think I am. So one of the things you have to do when you're working with normal clients is get them to kind of embrace who they are, which is nearly impossible. So there's a couple funny tricks you can use. I've got this 1, 2, 3, 4 assessment from the book Can You Go, which I think works really well. And it ends up, you characterize somebody as a body composition client. That's if their waistline is over half the height. A mobility client. That's if they need more than one pillow to sleep comfortably at night. And the third, they're a strength client. That means they can't hold a 2-minute plank. And of course, you can be combinations of any of those. So I have a little Venn diagram, and there's 7 different people. So, hi, I'm Dan, I'm a 3. Okay, I'm a body comp client. That's great, and that works well. But there's another kind of interesting thing you can do, is if you're a personal trainer, walk with your client as you say, oh, so nice to meet you. And then you walk them to their car and open the car door and look inside. Look in the back seat of the car. If it's covered in fast food boxes and wrappers, you got a pretty serious mountain to climb. If the whole thing's decluttered and disarrayed, you can imagine what their kitchen is like. You can imagine what their refrigerator is like. You can imagine what their basic nutrition life is like. It's cluttered. It's messy. It's going to sound weird, but maybe one of the best workouts you can do with a new client is, every day they come in, you do an original strength warm up, you do the 30 for 30 workout, and then you both walk out to the car, and this week we clean out the back seat, next week we clean out the glove compartment, the next week we clean out the little trays in there here and here, and the coin tray, and the fourth week we vacuum the inside and clean the inside of the windows. I'm not saying anyone would ever do that, but there's a book I like a lot. It's called The Declutter Diet. And the author argues that people with body composition issues often have, well, of course, it's going to be their issue is that they don't, in their past, they've eaten wrong, and this is just carried up till now, or too much processed food, too much whatever you want to call starch, whatever cheap cheap, easy to get carbohydrates, too much sugar, too many soft drinks. You know the drill. And what we need to do is get them on this path, but it's real hard to get someone on this path to fitness, longevity, health, and maybe even performance, where every second of their life they're getting bombarded by all these other ideas and all the junk that's around them. I like to have a clean house because I find if I've got all the laundry put away, all the dishes are where the dishes are supposed to be, it's very easy for me to write. I write better decluttered. That's why I write first thing in the morning, usually about 5:30 in the morning is when I write, because my house is clean. There's only one dirty dish in the house, and that's my coffee mug, and it's easy for me to stay focused and on track. So when we talk about goal setting, very often I have to stop I would never say this to a client, but if I'm working with a trainer, I'll remind the trainer that this person's goal list is just words they're throwing out at you. They don't really own it yet. Find out what they need: body comp, mobility, or strength, or a combination of those three. Then try to help them declutter, clean up their life so they can take care of the important thing, especially in body composition, which is proper eating. As Tom Furman always says, you can't outrun a donut. Here in Salt Lake City, we had a bagel place. They wouldn't tell you how many calories were in the chocolate chip bagel. Finally, I had a student who worked there, and I asked her, and she said 1,100 calories. So I want you to go on the Airdyne or even any machine that reads off calories, and I want you to work until you burn off 1,100 calories. Call me when you finish. That's going to be a tough one. But if your life is decluttered, you didn't eat a proper breakfast, you didn't make a good lunch choice, and you smell that chocolate chip bagel, plop, plop, instant gratification and instant bigger belly. So when we talk about goal setting, folks, it's more nuanced than most people think. We have got to get personal trainers out of the sports mindset. You jump 6 feet, now you want to jump 7 feet. Most clients aren't number-driven goals. That is why, by the way, I do like using the waistline in centimeters. If you show up at 109 and we get you down to 99, that's good numbers. That's gonna keep the person coming back. So that's just an introduction to goal setting. I just wanted to share that with you.